Are you ready to level up your rifle? If you are, then this video is for you. Last Tuesday, we covered the very bare bones basic rifle setup. Well, today, we're gonna level that up and go way beyond to get you a really good, high quality fighting rifle. And surprisingly enough, a lot of people do this in the wrong order. Today, I'm gonna show you the next level setup that will take you from the average guy with a rifle to a true modern Minuteman. Hey, I'm Michael, and with 20 years of military experience and about 15 years training civilians and former military in the art of shooting and small unit tactics, I've seen two types of shooters: guys that collect gear and rifles, and those that truly understand their weapon system. Today, we're going to become that second group. Your rifle's personality starts now. Before you buy any other accessories for your rifle, make sure you have a good quality barrel. That's the heart of a rifle. Here are some of my suggestions. I prefer a mid-length gas system for smoother recoil impulse and less wear and tear on internal components. But here's the part that a lot of shooters miss. Smoother and or less recoil isn't about comfort, it's about controllability under stress. It gives you the ability to make that follow-up shot much quicker and much more accurately. The barrel, I feel, might as well be chambered in 223 Wild because it accepts a wide variety of ammunition. It's the chamber that doesn't matter what ammo shortage is happening this month. 1-in-8 twist rate on the barrel because it supports most popular bullet weights. 55 grain, 62 grain, it'll even support 77 grain. It's the twist rate for people that want flexibility, not a safe full of expensive rounds. 14.5 or 16-inch barrel. Either should work just fine. Honestly, the ballistics don't change that much. A 14.5 is still capable of reaching out there. But remember, if you have 14.5, unless you go the SBR route, your flash hider, muzzle brake must be pinned and welded for legal 16-inch barrel length. Once your barrel is good, now your controls start mattering. And this is where people waste a lot of money. Free-floating M-LOK handguard is my advice. Yeah, I get it. This is not an M-LOK handguard. This is a key mod handguard, which I feel is a strong number 2. It's just obvious that Magpul, their M-LOK, won out over key mod. And I do feel it's slightly easier to use. So either or works pretty well, or you can go with the old school Picatinny quad rail if you want. I prefer the Midwest Industries combat rail in M-LOK. That's not the one on this rifle, but it's on 2 of my other ARs. I like it because it isn't too expensive and it'll stand up to some really hard use. And like I said, M-LOK because of the availability of accessories and mounting hardware. Flash hider. You can just get an A2 like this, or a good 3-prong. 3 prongs are, in my mind, a little bit better. Why did I say flash hider, not a compensator? Because unless you're running a suppressor, a flash hider is much more important for your role as a modern Minuteman because it helps mitigate that flash, not giving away your position and not damaging your night vision as much as a comp. Like I said, if you have a suppressor, which mitigates that flash anyway, then sure, run a compensator inside of it. Why not? Next up is a grip. I talked about this before. I prefer the Bravo Company Gunfighter grip. I like that neutral angle, like I talked about in my last video. When you're out patrolling, you're going around a lot like this, and you don't want that old A2 style to twist your wrist up and help get that elbow up. You want it nice and tight, tucked in, neutral angle, help support a stable shooting platform, which will greatly help you increase your accuracy. Because accuracy starts with structure, and having a proper grip supports that structure. The stock. There are many out there, but this one is mine. Now, this is a Mission First Tactical Minimalist stock. I've put these through hard use. They are on all my ARs. Nice little hook. I've actually used that to hook up on a barrier and pull myself up. I have bashed them around. I have really stressed these stocks, and I really like them. And they weigh under 5 ounces. And they're also budget friendly. But the next upgrade supports speed and accuracy more than any of the others. A good quality trigger like Geisley, Noveski, CMC. Single stage, 2-stage, that's all personal preference. You want a good quality trigger, but you don't want to have to spend too much money. On to the bolt carrier group. I run Fail Zero exo coated bolt carrier groups. I have found them to be very, very reliable. And you could probably tell by that picture. Look at all that grime in there. Yeah. I do clean my rifles very often, but what that does is it gives you the ability to not worry about it as much. You want your bolt carrier group to run hot, cold, wet, or dry, and to keep going. Next is an inexpensive but very practical upgrade that a lot of people don't think about. Extended takedown pins. I can grab that very easily, break the weapon system open, swap out bolt carrier groups under stress very easily, even with gloves on. So extended takedown pins, I feel, is very important. Next one, some people like old school. I like giving myself any chance I can of surviving the fight. So a Magpul and or Troy battery assist device. What is that? It attaches here to the bolt release, bolt lock. And it comes over here, and there's a little lever down here. So what I do is, all you gotta do to send it, if it locks up, all you gotta do to send it forward is to push it down. Here, I'll show you it in use. Another thing that's nice is instead of having to take both hands off, pull the rifle back like this, lock the bolt back, here's what I can do. To lock the bolt back, all you have to do is push up on this with my finger, pull back here, never removing my firing hand from the control group. And then insert the new magazine, and instead of having to then go up here and hit the bolt release, I can insert the magazine, automatically take my hand forward, and just push down my finger, and I'm back in the fight. That saves milliseconds. But you know what? In a real firefight, when your life is on the line, milliseconds may just matter. And it's an inexpensive upgrade, so why not? But none of this matters without a good quality sighting system for your rifle. Your optics are like your rifle's brain. There's a lot of debate on optics, backup iron sights, low power variable optics versus fixed power. I'm going to go into my recommendations and what I like to use, my personal opinions. I like a fixed power prism scope with an etched reticle with a red dot as a backup. And for close-in use. We're going to get into that in a minute. I personally recommend optics from Primary Arms. Their ACSS reticle is amazing. I absolutely love it. It'll make ranging, target acquisition, hitting moving targets, lots of things so much easier than almost any other reticle out there. So you could run a Primary Arms SLX 3 power like this one, or a 5 power with their RS10 red dot on top. This is not one, this is just a True Glow micro dot or something like that. But what that combination does is it gives you 3 or 5 power, whichever you choose, and a backup red dot. I like putting mine on top. So if I'm bringing the rifle up for CQB close in, I'm like this. If I need to engage a target further away, all I can do is drop my head down and I have my magnified primary optic. Why do I not have backup irons? Well, because of the way this weapon system is, and I don't have a quick disconnect mount for it, I cannot put backup irons on this. But this is a high quality optic, and that's a decent quality optic also. So I feel I will probably be good enough, but if you choose to run backup irons, go for it. I still think it's a good idea. Primary Arms also has a new version of the SLX 3 and 5 power called the Micro Prism. Those are awesome. You can get them in a combination package like the 5 power with one of their RS10s, already with the mount and everything. for under $600 for 2 optics and the mounts. That's a good deal. So like I said, this kind of setup gives you the red dot for close in CQB work and or for backup, and then you have the fixed 3 or 5 power for reaching out and hitting those further targets. I personally recommend 5 power. I wish I would have gone with a 5 power instead of this 3 power. But hey, we all make mistakes, right? Prism optics with etched reticles are the best for preppers. I should have stated that in my last video when I talked about red dots. I brain fart. Because if it's an etched reticle and your battery dies, so what? Your reticle is still there. You can still use it. And this next part is where your rifle truly becomes personal to you and your situation and your area. The rifle must match the mission. Generally speaking, urban, suburban, or rural, a 14.5 or 16-inch barrel will work just fine. But stay with me here for a sec. Let's go with the fact of urban, shorter distances. So let's recommend maybe a 14.5 and a 3 power for that situation. And then maybe for rural, you might want the 16-inch, or you're probably still well off with a 14.5 and a 5 power, because you may have those longer shots. This next part is where a lot of people hesitate. Scrimming and painting your rifle. A lot of people hold back on that. And one of the questions I get all the time, here I'll do a nice little close-up of the rifle. One question I get all the time is, how do you get that battle-worn look on your paint job? Because I go out and I actually train. I actually use it all the time. So this is like a lot of different paint jobs. Pro tip, when you're doing a paint job, really light coats, because it'll wear off and you'll go back over it. But if you have to take a gunsmith, trust me, he'll thank you for doing super light coats, so you're not locking up any of the components and making them really difficult to get to. The shape of a rifle is very recognizable to the human eye, so you don't want to be given away by your nice shiny black rifle. You see here, earth tone paint. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to look cool. It just has to break up the pattern and make it not so obvious what it is. Same with the Scrim. This is Scrim here. Just some camo netting tied on in different locations. Here, yeah, wherever they are, and around the optic. What that does, it kind of helps break up the outline a little bit. Don't overdo it, and make sure it's not in anywhere where it's going to hinder or get in the way of operating the rifle or the controls of the rifle or the operating system of the rifle. Don't forget a good quality sling. I prefer the Condor Speedy slings like I talked about, but there's a lot of good slings out there. And good quality magazines. I prefer Magpul P-Mags. They're inexpensive and they work. And lots of ammo for training so that you can become proficient. No matter what rifle you have, it will not make you a better shooter. Training will make you a better shooter. Practice dry firing, shouldering your rifle every single time in the same location. Practice malfunction drills, practice reloads, practice in low light conditions, add in movement, and ultimately add in movement, stress in a dynamic situation for the ultimate level of training. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your equipment, you fall to the level of training that you have. And the fact is, most rifles out there are way more capable than the person behind them. Stay tuned for next Tactical Tuesday, where I cover some of the other Minuteman kit that will help you be more effective. Thank you very much for allowing me to be part of your day. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.